Hello and welcome back to Fallout New Vegas Hardcore Explosives Only. I'm Zyzix, this is our protagonist Hardcore Pete, who's looking a little different today, you might have noticed. We've lost our beard and our hair. Now that usually happens when you come to Big Mountain, because you know, you get lobotomized, they shave your head and everything. But I still had my beard and hair before now, and even if I load a previous save, I don't have it. So I have no idea what's going on with that. But since today's our last day in Big Mountain, I'm not going to worry about it until we get out of here. And yes, today is our last day in Big Mountain. We are heading over to the Forbidden Zone Dome. And we'll get that one over at the Forbidden Dome Zone. I know I did say I was going to do the thing for Dr. O, but I had a bit of a false memory. You can create skill book. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna go right in. You can create skill books for permanent boosts. Yeah, you can get skill book recipes to create one-time skill books to permanently upgrade your skills, but you can't actually make the magazines in this DLC. That is a Lonesome Road thing, and you need a specific perk, which I don't have, so yeah. But I did stock up on this for this fight. I kind of waited around the sink for a couple of days, hoping that the sink would refresh their inventory so I could buy some more stuff. And as you can see, I was able to get some grenades. Because you can run around and activate the terminals to beat the Robo Scorpion, but who wants that? We want a big old fight. Yeah. Oh. I was not expecting that much experience, actually. Because if I put that to 56, that should be enough of a boost to get me to, you know what? I'll push it to 60 and we'll put points in there, and that's as high as I'm gonna have it. I hope. Oh, I said I wasn't gonna level speech at all, so I might level it up when I max these out and these and survival. Then it's only speech and other weapon skills, so I might end up leveling up speech a little bit, but ooh, and a level 36 perk. What do we get? Anything new? Broad daylight. You're so sneaky that you can sneak even with your pit boy light on. No. Let's go spray and pray, just so when we get back I can actually use my companions a bit more. Oh, you had some stuff. But yeah, for the Robo Scorpion fight, you can go around, especially if you have 100 signs, and bust into all the terminals and just be like, yep, done. But that's no fun. We want to fight. And now I can actually go and do O's quest, except I got to deal with these scorpions first so I can fast travel. Yikes. That is a lot. That's like a lot. Oh, and they just keep coming. It's like 3 just chilling there. The funny thing is, there is exactly 1 speech magazine in this DLC, and it is held by Dr. 8. Dr. 8, the one doctor that can't actually speak, has the speech magazine. And of course, that right now there's the pacification field, so I can't actually even fight the doctors, and I can't pickpocket him. I actually tried that, and I just ended up talking to him anyway. Stimpat. I'm running low. I don't think I'll actually have to fight Mobius, but still. I'm running out of the grenades. That's not good. I might have to just run away. Ah, yes, the mysterious cave. That's not a place we're gonna do right now. This is the location I was talking about when I said there's something I want to do, but with my current equipment, I just can't. The mysterious cave is that location. Come on, you stupid... Oh. Cool, are we done? I'll take your cells, because I can actually change those into microfusion cells. Now, am I getting the boost from the lights? Not yet, so I need to turn them off and on.
Hi again, sweet.
Turn on those lights. Standard lights?
Hi again, sweetie.
No. Mood lighting, there we go. And that should give me a nice boost to 69. Let's go talk to Dr. O. Dr. O.
Predictable. The lobotomite specimen returns. Its purpose? Repetition. Chances of success? High.
So do you have another name?
Yeah, I do. It wasn't always O. I just took that one by default because sometimes it's easier to accept the mistake as long as the purpose works. I don't want to get into it. It's a sore topic with me. Makes my gel ripple.
Are you sure? I'm a good listener. And I've got the ears for it.
Great. Psychology. Clearly the worst of the sciences, right after colostodiuretics. Okay, so my name is an O. Never was. It was circular, a single character, digit, but not O. But even with enhanced sensors, no one here could get it right. Always kept seeing the letter, not the number.
The number? If they kept confusing the letter with the number, your name is Dr. O. Dr. Zero.
Yes, thank you. Zero. I am Zero. How hard is that?
A narrow, thin zero. An oval, not a round circle. I don't know. O sounds more impressive.
Zero's my name. I'm proud of it, alright? It doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Truth be told, my emotional attachment to it doesn't even register compared to just having people recognize the difference. It's just that they're both sort of round and hollow, so when they monitor scan them, they assume that, oh, it's O. Vivisect me, please.
just so you know, vivisection is when you're dissected but still alive, and intelligence 9. If you wanted to differentiate the 0 and O, just put a slash through the 0.
What?
0. Draw a slash through it. It's standard term-link code to distinguish the two.
Did I shoot myself with a brainial beam or something? That's brilliant. I mean, I would have come to the same conclusion. Eventually. Oh, who am I deceiving? I never would have figured that out. I can't figure anything out. I'm useless.
And that's what makes you truly a 0.
Exactly.
Ha.
At least the old name was indisputable. O is more like surprise. Oh, look what I stepped in.
Well, there's power in 0. It reduces anything it's multiplied against to 0?
Well, of course it does. That's the most lethal of mathematics. That's pretty cool, actually. Destroyer of numbers. I already wreck every robot I study. Why not basic arithmetic? I like your solution. With that kind of slash in the middle, I can set myself apart. If I wanted to. To make a 0 in all the think tank, they won't be able to escape it. That diagonal slash right down the middle. Thanks. Talking to you, it really helped unclog some frustration. Talking. What a primitive form of thought kicking.
So, 0, got any amazing discoveries to share?
You know, hearing my name said like that, it really de-reses my screens. As for discoveries, well, of course. Look at this. Just, built it. Amazing, isn't it?
He just gives me scrap electronics and some scrap metal. Certainly is interesting, whatever it once was.
You know what? I'm not even gonna pretend. I broke one of the monitors, and those innards start falling out everywhere. If you could just hold on to that for me until, well, forever, that would be welcome.
You gonna give me any more of those worthless caps?
You sure are testing that personality chip thoroughly. All right. Yeah, there were a few under the monitors here.
You said that last time. Alright, cool. Cool. Oh, I should have grabbed that jukebox tape while I was in the Forbidden Zone. Alright, let's jump right back in.
This one looks pretty tough.
Oh, even more. They are endless. Absolutely endless. Okay, so for the field research, they'll want me to go through the next room anyway. Yeah, I don't have the ammo to fight any more Robo-Scorpions right now. I mean, thanks for the ammo, Footlocker, but I need explosives. That's not explosives. Oh, there we go. The auto sampler for Mobius's Robo-Scorpion. Energy cells? Yeah, blah blah. Find samples for the biological research station. Oh. So I'm still not done with everything? I can't go back out there without dying, so we'll talk to Mobius.
Bad guys dealt with.
Here we are in the Forbidden Zone.
Electrons attached to the neutron. The neutrons attached to the meson.
They're a bit faded, I'm not sure why, but if you look closely, like the floor's covered with just equations and writings and stuff, and that's his glove. I remember the equations being more prominent, but here's a fixing things, and a robo brain, which is concerning because this guy's supposed to have my brain. But he's just kind of chilling. We can have a look around. He doesn't really care. Anything even in these? No, not really. So yeah, he's just floating around. He don't mind us. Drain, microfusion, proton axe. Oop, that's worth something. Oh, I tried to force that and it didn't work. 85% and I still failed. That's why I don't force locks. But oh well. Brain tank. I wonder what could be in that. Scientist scrubs. Ooh. This is his room with just an absurd amount of mentats. Like, he straight up has a mentats addiction. I think they've actively stated that, if not just heavily hinted at it. But I mean, just the amount. Also, where are they coming from? I haven't seen like a pharmaceutical place or anything.
The neutron's attached to the meson. Meson's connected to the proton.
Meson, that's a new one for me. I mean, this is pretty much it. Oh, right, bunch of ammo. Cool. Now, I'm not gonna force this one. Last time I lost the ammo. Some whiskey. There's a trunk here. And his scrubs. Alright, so we got his glasses, his scrubs, and his glove. Alright. Enough dilly-dallying. Dr. Mobius. Yeah, you.
Hmm? Yo, hello there. You are there, aren't you? Forgive my confusion. So hard to tell these days. You seem familiar somehow. I'm guessing you're here for your brain, perhaps? It's just up there. Such a nice brain, young, very bright. Little hard to see you. Can you walk into my left, right FOV cone? Ah, that's it. You're coming into focus nicely.
Is this better?
Depth perception is a problem with this old monitor of mine. Went black a while ago. That's old age for you. Should look at getting the visual nerves reattached. It's just that the right eye would see the wrong things. The flying tortoises were the worst. Would you care for a mentat?
Thanks.
I love mentats. Delicious and smarty. I have all sorts of amazingly science-terrific thoughts and ideas when those chalky tablets are zipping through my biogel. I forget them all not long after, though, especially with the data constipating my memory core. Afraid binary streams might shoot out my chassis. Had to start using the dome floor and walls here to inscribe equations, although I've somewhat lost track of where they start and end.
You aren't exactly what I was expecting.
Really? That implies preconceived notions, theories, and a hypothesis about this meeting? Please extrapolate. What was I supposed to be like? After all, it might be worth a cognitive realignment if your theoretical Mobius is better than I.
I need my brain back.
Do you? You seem fine without it. And does it even want to go back with you? Maybe you should ask it. It's quite independent, has all manner of opinions. Tell you what, I'll leave it up to your brain. If it wants to go, then fine. If not, well, you should respect its wishes.
Fair point, but I was curious about some things. Oh, and another level up, smashing through them.
Oh, curiosity. I experience that less now that I know everything. Or maybe it was when I found out some unpleasant answers.
I can't fix your monitor, but if you're getting ghost reception, I can fix that.
The ghosts aren't real? That changes everything. Why, I can save my computing power for other perceptual unpossibilities.
Unpossibilities.
Please be my guest. The receptor is there, and the side-switching wobbly bob, just turn that. Good, good, better. Oh, yes, that feels wonderful. This is even better than my afternoon mentats break.
Right, you don't seem aggressive, so what's with the broadcasts and the threats to the think tank?
Oh, I was probably tripping hard on Psycho when I sent that. Had to work myself up to it. Not usually violent, except when I am. Then, watch out! So many chems, such varieties. Whenever I take mentats, I can feel my entire chassis breathe like a big spherical lung. As for the Psycho, sometimes get the chem dispositories in my tank all switched up. Go in the wrong tube. Still, served its purpose.
I was curious about some other things.
I find things curious as well. Go on.
Why did you steal my brain?
Oh, a variety of reasons. You're something of a homily. Anomaly? You're really quite special, and not in the cranially challenged way. You see, you are the most successful brain extraction experiment ever performed here at Big Mountain. A victim of your own success, as it were. If you were to go back with what your brain knows about the procedure, well, your brain could be popped back in and you could walk right out of here. Can't have brains moving around of their own volition.
And why is that a problem?
I'm not sure, except that I'm sure there's a very good reason for it. I have very good reasons for almost everything I do. Even if I forget them occasionally. Although I feel this one is especially important. Oh, well.
I was curious about some things.
Yes, this is getting interesting. You are just filled with these...
Yep. Can you tell me about the Roboscorpions?
Well, every scientist needs an army. Mine came to me after these rather large scorpions kept coming in from the desert, like poisonous frosting. How scary, I thought, but they had survived when nothing else had. Perfect candidates for improvement as a reward for their tenacity. Then I thought, what if they shot energy bolts and acted as walking eyes and data-drained computers and acted as bullhorns? Then I made them bigger. Then I thought about custard. I do so love custard. Or was it mustard? Mustard custard. I miss sugars and salts.
Wait. It sounds like you built the Roboscorpions and were issuing those threats to keep the think tank occupied. You said you had to work yourself up with the Psycho to send the message, and you said you needed an arm. Like, what's going on? You keeping them occupied?
Did I? Maybe I did. Can't have them leaving. Some reason for it. Ethics or, conscience? You and your brain are quite alike. I'm sure it knows the reasons better than I do.
Everything you've told me doesn't add up. Your plan, even your name, Mobius.
Dr. Mobius. Rather catchy, isn't it? It's my name, and my new name overwrote the old one. This name's as real as you or I. Although I believe your brain expressed similar incredulity at the nature of such an appellation. Someone's been watching too many old-world science fiction movies, it said. I believe it meant me. I must admit I have a vulnerability for holotape fantasies of planets and robots and all that is forbidden. As for the name I was born with, like the think tank, we were all reprogrammed to forget them, take on new names. It enforces the recursion loop in our perception programming.
There it is, the recursion loop in the perception programming. That's what's been alluded to before. So you've reprogrammed their names as part of a recursion loop. What, to trap their processes?
Now, trap is a rather harsh word, like excrement. Not an inappropriate word, but still rather harsh. But, yes, I did take some liberties with their programming. It's all right, they don't remember. I certainly didn't until you said trap, and then I said excrement, and then...
Yep, back on track. A recursion loop is designed to prevent the flow of information, so...
The radar fence to keep the think tank hemmed in wasn't really enough. They keep testing things. They would have found a way to disarm it. I suspect I have Plan 9s in place, but I may have coded myself to forget them, just in case. They're probably very dangerous, lethal, or worse. So I had to do something else to keep them occupied here, or as you like to say, trapped. I prefer to have several Plan 9s in case the 7s fail.
Klein, Mobius, 0's a circle, 8's an infinity symbol. They're all loops, I get it.
Oh, you figured it out. No pun intended. Dr. O, which is actually not his real name multiplied, since you can't multiply his real name in the first place. Ouroboros.
Ouroboros.
Klein, they have all forgotten themselves. And not only themselves, but the world, sense of time, and history. All that is left is what's here. I reprogrammed their chronometers, geometers, and cartography programs. This is now their world, here, Big Mountain. It was a merciful lobotomy, really, thinking back. They were my friends, but sometimes they would take things too far. And the world isn't ready for that kind of too-far thing-taking. That's my professional opinion, anyway. And I am told I was once quite professional.
Minor detail, but the snake devouring its own tail is Ouroboros, not Ouroboros.
Really? It is so unlike me to make an error in anything I do.
Anyway, if you've lobotomized the think tank, why continue to terrorize them?
Well, it's simple. Despite their many failings, they are rather bright. They are the think tank for a reason. That I didn't change. Without something to distract them, make them afraid, they would simply deduce what had happened. And when they start deucing it up, then you came along, the final variable solved. They saw that their world was larger than they perceived. Bacteria, finally able to see its host.
There were other visitors, though. Why am I different?
There have been other visitors to make them doubt their perceptions, but you are the one who dialed back their monitor micromagnifiers. You were irrefutable proof that there was a world outside. And then there was the whole brain fiasco, which forced me to take steps. See, your brain had a special kind of wrinkle, a uniquity that they had never thought to try in all their countless escape attempts.
Ah, yes, I understand. It's the cranial injury from the attack outside of Goodsprings. Basically, because Benny shot me in the head, and I survived that, that's the uniquity.
Yes, very good. I should have mentats in just you instead of the other way around. mentats. In any event, you showed up at the think tank, and because you had suffered a cranial injury in just the right place, bullets in the head are usually much more fatal, and yours was a light case of bullet headitis.
Thankfully.
But it was enough for the auto dock in the sink to change its programming to fix the problem, and the brain extraction technology for once worked. That gave the think tank the knowledge its brains couldn't possess. With that knowledge, the procedure can be reversed. If they obtain that procedural data, they can use it to mush and modify their cranial selves into hosts to slip past the radar fence. I'm sure of it. And once they're off the reservation...
So you set up your threats on a loop to keep them occupied?
Yes, I certainly wouldn't loop it on purpose. I am far too sophisticated to make such a childish error.
Klein said they had the idea to get the three technologies after your broadcast. Is that a coincidence?
I consider coincidence to be profanity.
Oh, wow.
Along with the words astrology, herbal tea, and luck. So watch it, potty mouth.
Yes, sir.
My threat broadcast is designed to instill and install fear. And along with the emotional download, other data rides the fear carrier wave. It prompted them to focus on retrieving those technologies and bring them to attack me. And coincidentally, pardon my language, all those technologies are needed to put your brain, back into its skull properly.
Was there any other data you transmitted in your threat broadcast?
Yes, my overly aggressive cammed-up broadcast was designed to keep reinforcing the forget, fear, rinse, and repeat program. Oh, and the get me the things to castrate your only possible escape attempt. But I couldn't delete you or your arrival any more than I could the other visitors. Only so much science can do when you started talking to them. You're really quite difficult to ignore, you know. It's because you're, well, rather intriguing, if you'll forgive an old brain for saying so.
I'll take that as a compliment. But, just so you know, the think tank downloaded the schematics, not the items. They can rebuild those items.
Oh, that means my plan is a total failure. That is unfortunate.
Little bit.
Oh well, at least I tried.
I mean, yeah. So what was the purpose of those technologies again?
The X2 antenna can be used to focus your alpha wave frequency thought patterns. The sneaky suit? Why, it houses a cardiac regulator. And the sonic sound wave projecto emitter was never intended as a weapon. It was a medicinal vertebrae pulse desensitizer. In short, brains, a heart, and courage. Spine. I think there was a story once where a band of murderous thugs sought these things.
Murderous thugs.
They had them all the time in the story. Didn't stop them from murdering to get them. And it won't stop the think tank either.
Do you know anything about the other visitors?
Not much, except they contaminated Big Mountain and installed new ideas in the think tank. One caused a great deal of infrastructure damage with his brain and smartiness. Ruthless, that one. Played a little rough with the trains. But the last one was the most dangerous. Him, slipping away. That was almost as bad as the think tank escaping.
What do you mean?
The first one, the ruthless one who smashed up our toy trains, asked for weapons, power, items he could use to destroy a nation with force. The other, The other asked a different question, and with it got the true answer about what makes nations and what breaks them. He spoke to the think tank to climb, showed them the flag of the old world, and it made them remember all of it, all that had happened. They shared things with him that they shouldn't. He now carries those ideas, that knowledge elsewhere.
Right. I was curious about some other
Yes,
things. It's time for me to go.
Indeed. The goodbye part of our little chat, then. Goodbye. Please mind the equations on the floor.
And there's my level up. May as well just, yeah, start pumping up survival. There you go, Dr. Mobius. He is actually keeping not just the Mojave, but the entire world safe from those crazy-ass doctors that want to go out there and make more Cazadors and Night Stalkers and lobotomize people and whatnot. And here gives me brain.
Electrons attached to the neutron.
Hello, brain.
Well, well, look who finally dragged themselves in out of the wasteland. And where have we been? Crawling through pits of radioactive muck again?
Are you my brain?
Ah, lovely. Figured that out, have we? Would you like a cookie?
Yeah, but, you know, there's no need to be sarcastic. Meeting your own brain is a slightly odd event.
Yes, well, believe me, the opposite is equally true. Good Lord, have you bathed at all since they pulled me out of you?
Yes. Because I've been running around a crater full of bizarre science experiments, hygiene is a top priority.
Well, I see sarcasm hasn't eluded you. Fine, perhaps now isn't the best time, but it's the principle of the thing.
Why are you such a dick?
Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me, a, quote, dick, unquote, as if I'm the one responsible for the way you carry on gadding about the wastes. I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus-infested ancient vaults or go charging off to New Vegas on missions of ill-conceived revenge. And have we forgotten who got us shot in the head and buried in a shallow grave? Do you think I enjoyed that little moment?
Of course you're responsible. You're my brain. And, you know, I got a shot in the head. You got shot. So that's why we ran off to New Vegas to, you know, get revenge. What are you talking about? You're responsible. You're my brain.
I most certainly am not. I'm the seat of all reason and logic in our little partnership. All those feelings that motivate you, that sense of righteousness and that rush you get when you help someone, do you know where those come from? Glands. They come from glands. Free of the tyranny of your ape-like and primitive endocrine system, I can see how foolish your motives are.
Honestly, it just feels like I'm talking to Stewie Griffin from Family Guy. I'm not complaining, but that's definitely the vibe. Medicine. But you're the source of most of those glands, unless you're arguing that my thyroid is to blame.
Well, look, it's all a very complex system of biofeedback.
Oh
and
yes,
other
I'm
things
sure
I
it
wouldn't
is.
expect you to understand.
Well, if you can understand it, I can understand it. And, you know, come on, admit it. You're just as glandular as I am.
Oh, all right. Perhaps I am, but at least I'm logical about it.
Don't you want to be reunited, though? I thought you'd be happy to get back in my head.
I'm not going to lie to you. The prospect is definitely not that appealing. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have peace, quiet, and safety. Well, barring the odd rogue scorpion. In your head, I've got poison, radiation, grisly injuries, and biological functions. Do you know how much more you can get done when you're not constantly looking for places to urinate? It's quite a lot, I can tell you.
Yeah, but what are you getting done? Alright, I can see your point. What can I do to make this a fair compromise?
If you want me back, we need to establish some ground rules. First, showers! Second, regular checkups. Regular, mind you, and from a reputable doctor. That Julie Farkas woman, for example, she seems to know a thing or two. Third, you need to listen to me more than your hormonal choir and genitalian orchestra. Promise me that, and you've got a deal.
Fine, fine, you've got a deal.
Really? I didn't expect you to actually agree to that. I'm afraid that was a bit of a bluff, really. I'm not going with you.
What? What? So what, you'd rather just stay here? Never leave the tank of whatever that stuff you're floating in is?
Well, certainly there might be some things I miss about being ambulatory. We have seen some incredible sights, haven't we? Jason Bright and his followers launching into the vast unknown. But still, given the tremendous, potentially life-ending peril that went along with those, yes, I'd rather stay here.
Far out. Well, if you like being stuck in there so much, maybe I'll just leave you.
Oh no! Please, don't leave me here in this nice, safe dome where I have access to nutritive fluids and a fully indexed library. Please don't deprive me of being dragged through a landscape so bleak it was actually improved by the end of the world.
The Mojave.
I don't know how I could bear it.
That is some serious sarcasm. But I mean, look what happened to the think tank. They went nuts. Even Mobius is off the rails. He's not dangerous. He's trying to keep people safe, but he's still nuts. So what, do you want to end up like them after a few hundred years?
It's true, the brains here have experienced some degree of deterioration. I'm confident that with a few decades of work, I can solve the problem.
Wow. Then surely you've taken into account the corrosive effects of long-term exposure to biogel.
Of course I accounted for that! Do you think I'm so stupid? No, you're right. Maintaining my current functionality will be harder than I thought. This bears some further looking into.
What would happen to me if I did leave you here?
Let me see. I suppose you'd continue on much as you are now, using that synthetic thinking machine to do the heavy lifting. Unless, of course, the batteries run out. But that seems unlikely.
And if I put you back?
I'm not entirely sure. I suppose there's a chance that the reintegration would create some improved synergy between us. What form that might take, though, I cannot say.
Come on, let's go. We're getting out of here.
Ugh, crawl back in there? Are you mad? I don't know where you've been. For all I know, you're riddled with disease or packing one of those delightful head wounds you seem to attract.
Fair
I'm
enough.
not crawling back into your head just to ooze right back out again.
This conversation, it's a real back and forth. Like, I remember having to go through this the first time several times, because it is hard to convince myself. Look, I promise I'll take better care of myself.
Even if I believe you, and I'm not saying I do, we still have one significant problem we're facing. Even if I wanted to settle myself back in your skull and go to all the trouble of reconnecting nerve endings, Dr. Mobius doesn't have the tools here. We would have to make use of Dr. Klein's lab, and I rather doubt the brains are inclined to share.
Then let's go make 'em share. Come on, brain. It's stomping time.
Oh, lovely. We've reached the mindless violence portion of the program. Tell me, what exactly are you, and I use the word loosely, planning?
So there's one for each of the weapon skills, obviously. Ever had a squirrel brain omelet? That, but on a bigger scale, and with bombs.
Well, you have always been thorough in your destruction. All right, what's your plan?
If the think tank won't hold up their end of the bargain, we'll make 'em. Let's go.
Right. Look out, think tank. This brain is coming out of its jar. I suppose now that we're reunited, you'll want to fill your torso up with those other meaty parts the think tank took from us. Personally, I think your upgrades are quite a bit better. But now that I'm with you, the Sync's autodock can plug them back in no problem. Right then, off we go. Klein will be in for a nasty shock when he realizes the pacification field won't work on a mind and body reunited.
Who do you think is cuter, Dr. Klein or Dr. Boros?
Alright. There's still gonna be those guys out the front, aren't there, though? Robo-Scorpions. Do you have anything to say now? My brain's back with me.
Oh, I see you and your brain reached a compromise. How pleasant. I hypothesize after the indignant frequencies my receptors had recepted, such a partnership-based conclusion would be low on the likely scale.
Yeah, it was an effort to convince him. My brain told me the think tank needs to be stopped. Can you help?
If I recall, I had a plan that was working, whatever it was. I don't think it reached fruition. I would recall fruit if it had happened. I wasn't trying to kill them, just keep them out of trouble. What was that plan? Blast. I probably wrote it down on the floor somewhere.
What was the plan you had?
Something ingenious and needlessly complicated, I expect. I may have already told you and forgotten it. I forgot I had forgotten pencils until one day I found one. Spent days studying its purpose before my memory circuit kicked in. Felt quite silly.
Imagine that. What is this strange device? And you spend days investigating it, figuring it out, and then like 3 days later you're like, oh right, pencils. Any tactics I could use to attack the think tank?
That will be difficult. It would be like fighting 5 scaled-down versions of me that have better depth perception. And they have an arsenal of vivisectors, brainial beams, and a rather nasty ray that can make your atoms do a happy dance.
You did that
If you
ooh-wee
can
really
survive
well.
those highly improbable odds and ends, then deceasing them is definitely an option. Although I doubt killing them would do anything except make you feel better. Or let you brag to other humans about your primal violentness.
Anything I could do to stop them that doesn't require violence?
Well, you could try and appeal to their humanity. That's a tired cliche. And really, when they were humans, they weren't very good humans.
Any suggestions for how to make them change their minds?
Well, there's many things they have forgotten, sitting in their bowls. Friendship, the thrill of discovery. Love, masturbation, the usual. Much like your brain, I am certain there is something you can spark within each of them. Memories, hormones. A wise man once said, "The eyes do more than see. Make them see, if you can. Or, if not, you can always make them succumb to fear." It certainly worked for me, for a time. Then you came along, and bravery and/or desperation trumped that little idea. Back to the drawing board, I suppose. Or is this the end? Hard to tell.
Scare them? How?
Oh, tell them I'm still alive. We had a nice chat, and we agree on a few things. That's true, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah.
Or you could kill me and lie about it. Either way, it would be interesting. And if you are partial to lying and deception, well, you could tell them a ludicrous lie. The more over the top, the better. That's my experience. They're more than a little gullible. Better make it convincing, though, or it'll be the dissection table and vivisectors for you. And if you speak of me, please try and make me look good. I am Dr. Mobius, after all, not some lab assistant teacher's aide.
Alright, cool, time for me to go.
Indeed, the good...
Yep. Same goodbye as last time. Now, is that an ammo thing? Oh yeah, there's some ammo. And a duffel bag. Anything in there? Energy cells? Yay, forcing it worked, because I was lazy. Alright, before we step out, yeah, where's that? Oh. Oh. If it's locked, it might have something decent. Rat X and Rat away. No more red scorpions, that's good. Is this a thing? Is it a dead guy crate? Okay, so those are quite close. If we're fast, we should be able to pick these up and then be done. Or maybe not.
Time to fight.
Nope, okay. This might not have been the right way. Okay, I have no idea what I'm gonna do about that. Couple of stim packs and we'll put on my power armor.
Okay, I'll go away.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Seeds. Got him. The plants are not mobile, so I can just run away from them. Return the samples to the sink. Oh, okay, that means we've got to be nearly done, right? Perimeter warning. Oh, actually. Maybe not, but if I'm... Oh, yep, okay, out of combat. But perimeter warning could have actually come in handy instead of... Yeah, just make it fast travel back here. Anyway, give you this.
You got some plans for me, don't you? Yeah, I can smell it all over you.
I command you to open your port and receive my seed.
Ah, yeah, baby. Just slip it in there. All the way down in that dark, moist earth. Launching interface.
Yep, there you go.
Baby, don't believe a word that Sync says. She's all lies.
Oh, and when I was looking up information about the speech magazine, trying to get that sorted, and I came across the fact that 8 has a speech magazine on his person, I saw one of the translations for one of the lines he says. Look, there's a few interesting, there's a few lines that were translated. None of them were overly interesting except one about the song ejaculating into my sonic emitter, where he straight up says, "Ah, yes, I creamed into your gun." He straight up says that.
You ever heard of what's the haps?
I found some Soundwave files for you.
Right on, Daddy-o. Just plug it in and I'll mix you up a sweet, sweet sound.
And the Robo Scorpion. And talk to you later.
Tiny Lester Luton. Best jazz harmonica I ever heard. Mind your business.
Nice, nice. Is there anything else? Quest-wise? Nope. That is everything. Excellent. I'm going to quickly do some inventory management, then we'll talk to the doctor and finish up here. Okay, got my inventory pretty much all sorted. I've decided that I'll keep a few of these unique items. The stealth suit, the scrubs, the armor, X-antenna, stuff like that. I mean, they are worth a decent chunk. But I also got 15,000 caps, and that was after doing some repairs, like my Remnant's armor is maxed out and everything. So, yeah, I'll hold on to those, and if I ever need more caps, I can sell them. Anyway, Doctor.
You require some additional services?
I'd like to engage your service.
Rightly so, I should think.
Yep. We'll do that. Nice basic physical.
You require some additional services?
Sure do. Swap in my body parts. Place my heart back in my chest. Yeah, I've lost the Heartless perk. Cardiac arrest burst. Your heart is back in your body, but some of the advanced technology remains. You are less resistant to poison, only 50%, but robots only somewhat confused by you, 25% less chance to have a critical hit. But on the bright side, healing items, chems, are twice as effective, 50%. So before I was completely immune to poison with the Heartless perk, and the robots had 50% less chance to hit a critical score. So those two numbers have been cut in half, but my healing has been increased by 50%. But still, I still have a 50% resistance to poison, and plus 25% chance to robots not getting a critical on me than I did before coming into this DLC. So there's still bonuses in the end. It's just, do I want more healing or complete resistance to poison? And the spine attachment. And now we lost the spineless perk. Spine is back in the body, some of it remains. Your torso can now be crippled again, but your strength and damage thresholds bonuses have doubled. That's pretty damn good.
While you were out, I spent 6 hours trying to reach a coffee cup up on a shelf. When I finally got it down, I was so happy! I cried! I hate my life!
So self-aware. So if I have a plus to strength, 375. That puts my strength pretty damn high. Yeah, so strength is maxed at 10. Yeah, because I get the +1 from the suit. So that's still getting bonuses. What am I getting bonuses from? Oh, it's just the reinforced spine just gives me the +2, so it'll always do that. But yeah, with the armor, I'm at 10. 375 carrying capacity. That is so good. Alright. Let's go. Klein awaits. Make sure you're prepared to finish this once and for all. I'm not even close, but I'm pretty sure I can just talk my way out of this. But I'll drop a quick save just in case.
The lobotomite returns. Our lobotomite. Has Dr. Mobius been denominated into scrap metal and voice module parts, as we hoped?
Nah. I found my brain. Now you and I are going to settle things.
I recommend watching your tone with me, lobotomite. Now, your brain. Hand it over, or we'll extract it again.
I'm not handing over my brain. There's some things we should discuss.
And what could we possibly have to speak about? You have the brain, we have the technology. All you must do is surrender. With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot tell you how boring this place gets, chopping up the landscape and everything in it. And we have so many questions to ask your brain first. About this Mojave place. A fertile testing ground for our experiments.
Mobius and I talked it over and we've reached an understanding.
You are lying. No, you are not. Your heartbeat, perspiration, all excessively confident and sure of yourself. Why would you reason with that maniac? He'll destroy us all!
Maybe you should confer with your colleagues first.
Nonsense. Confer, colleagues. Those are two words I do not recognize.
Woof.
Dr. Klein, I must intersect. Please, do not harm the lobotomite.
I'm not going to harm it. I'm going to dissect it until it's dead. Why the sudden intersection, Dalla?
I cannot stand a sweet breathing organism, breathing in and out to suddenly not breathe. We must keep it alive. For study. Slow study.
Dalla, these vocalized pauses are unlike you. What do you care?
Klein, you know, this lobotomite, it's a great sounding board. You respect ideology, right? This one's, well, it's got good ideas.
Silence, Dr. O. This is a think tank decision. Save your objections until after I have decided our course of action.
You know what, Klein? Stick a straw in your tank and suck yourself. Long and deep. And my name is Zero. Yeah, a big, fat zero with a slash through it.
The slash as a designator of... Why, that is brilliant. But how did you...
He didn't.
The lobotomite taught me that. Taught me a name is more than, that I should take pride in things like names. And you know what? Forget it, Klein. I hate you. And your theory of brachial beam oscillation? The Chinese had it first, you copycat.
How dare you? Brachial beam oscillation was solely my discovery. I expressly told you that and deleted all evidence to the contrary.
8 jumping in. Backing me up whether he wants to or not.
8. Why are you acting like this? You've never refused to commit necessary surgery before. And this lobotomite needs its surgery.
Well, I reprogrammed 8, so...
What is wrong with you? You sound brain scrubbed, blindly agreeing with the lobotomite. What?
I, for one, cannot bear to let this continue. I don't see what is to be gained by throwing another body into our labs, especially one that has done us a service, gone where we feared to go. This lobotomite doesn't deserve our knives. It deserves our respect. We should care for it, feed it, nurture it, give it the life Gabe never had.
Why am I even listening to you fools? Enough of this mutinous chorus. If there's a word I hate, it's mutiny. And the word jism, which never made any sense to me. It's ridiculous putting j and zm together like that. Nonsense!
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Like the mighty human hand I once had, with its 5 penises clenched in a fist.
Sounds to me like your math is wrong and the odds aren't good for you.
Nonsense! The mathematics of this situation are on our side, lobotomite. I believe... No, wait. Carry the 2, then... If this were a democracy, I would be concerned. We are too scientific for that. So just surrender.
I like this line. This is probably one of the... like, the nerdiest, but still the hardest hitting lines. You're right, it's not a democracy. It's a research facility, and over half your colleagues are disputing your findings. Mic drop.
You dare use logic against me?
Like, I don't know why, that line just goes so hard. You're right, it's not a democracy. It's a research center, and your colleagues dispute your findings. I do. Here's the deal. I'm not surrendering, you are.
That's no deal at all. There's a whole world beyond the crater, filled with ideas and possibilities. We could have escaped, seen it all for ourselves, tested it, prodded at it, made it squirm.
And that's why I can't let you leave. But I can bring the Mojave, this world, to you. You'll be safe, and you'll still be able to experiment.
For you? And for science? I have a strange sensation that I would like that. How odd. Very well, partner. The think tank is at your service as long as you do not destroy us.
Big Mountain.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The courier had scoured much of the Big Empty, although secrets still remained in the crater's depths. Perhaps that was for the best, however. Curiosity, while sometimes rewarded for its efforts, often proves to be equally dangerous.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him overmuch. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The Biological Research Station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. it adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magneto-hydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the big empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other sink personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub.
No, not the toaster!
Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except, he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole who created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910.
2910.
About it.
That's like 700 years from now.
By the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names once too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation,
oh, I like this.
They realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after, the stealth suit had left it without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
Dr. Klein and the think tank remained alive, unaware of the world outside. They looped through their daily routine, none the wiser about the world beyond, although perhaps wiser was the wrong word. The world outside belonged to the courier, and if anyone would shape it, well, the courier had already called dibs.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, old world blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was old world blues, and new world hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
Referring to the Lonesome Road DLC, but of course, we don't walk it alone, we walk it with Eddie. But that's it, we're done. Big brain perk, your brain is back in your body, your head still cannot be crippled, but you're only 10% more resistant to addiction. Surprisingly, your damage threshold has improved by 10%. And the big mountain transportal ponder, which, yeah, just teleports you back into it. And I really love that ending. Like, it's just great. It really does. It feels like you're finished, but also you haven't. You know, like there's still so much more of the big mountain to explore. But like all the sync personalities have their little stories happen, and it's just great. Like. Voracious, yeah, this is the one that I need to convert blank magazines into skill magazines, but I'm not gonna worry with that one. Done. Yeah, we'll go with Stonewall. That'll be good. Oh, he's still going. Jeez, okay, buddy. Footlocker empty. Although there's one thing that didn't happen in this DLC that I would have really loved to have seen. When fighting the Y-17 trauma harnesses, sometimes when you got the Wild Wasteland trait, obviously, you need this for it. Sometimes they'll say the line, "Hey, who turned out the lights?" And look, a skeleton in a spacesuit saying the line, "Hey, who turned out the lights?" might not mean anything to some people. But I watched Doctor Who as a kid. Well, not as a kid, but yeah, as a kid, as a teenager. And that is a reference from the Doctor Who episodes when it was David Tennant, Silence in the Library. There were skeletons in spacesuits walking around chasing down the Doctor, and they'd say, "Hey, who turned out the lights?" So the first time I played this DLC and I saw skeletons in spacesuits, I was like, oh, that's creepy. But then they just randomly said that line, I was just like, oh my god. But unfortunately that didn't happen this time, and we ran across enough of them. Anyway, we teleport back. Who the hell are you? Back to the Mojave, and there's just some random
Prim went out
prospector.
and accepted NCR rule. Some people will do anything to feel safe.
And then, yeah, we can just click it again and... But we'll call it an episode there. It was a bit of a longer one than I expected, but hey, we have finished Old World Blues. We are back in the Mojave, and there's still so much more for us to do. There's still 2 DLCs and a bunch of other side quests. I want to do the stuff for the Thorn, do all that, get some other weapons and stuff. Just so much still to do. New Vegas is just massive, and I didn't do everything to do in the 2 DLCs that we have done. But anyway, next time, I don't know. We definitely have to do inventory and hopefully go shopping, get some more explosives because we are low on those. But yeah, I'll see what we're doing next time when we get there. Until then, thanks for hanging out with me and Hardcore Pete. Hopefully next time I'll have his beard and hair situation sorted out as well. But until then, have a good one.